Previously, when we used to see South African goats, a goat weighing 30 kilos at 6 months, it's like Lugero, we never used to see them. But when I started bringing them, I'm like, if a South African can do it, they have rains. They hardly get any rains in their places. Their place is so dry, it is drought. You get it? I bring my goats here. We have 2 rainy seasons. Why can't somebody use those 2 rainy seasons to grow the feeds, to feed the goats in that dry time? You get it? Actually, what I realized with Ugandans, we have so many resources at our disposal, but we don't know how to use them. We are taking everything for granted. Actually, I work like I'm going to die tomorrow because I see opportunities everywhere. I see so many opportunities. For example, recently, when I used to go to Kenya, when I used to travel to Kenya, I would go for those visits to visit other farmers to see how they are doing. And I would find for them, they are in their nurseries, they are selling some trees. They are like they are acacia trees. These trees in Uganda, in most of our Uganda communities, we have these trees growing by themselves. Naye bo nga bazigula mu tree nursery bazitwale ku farm bazisimbe. But for us here, Basoka they call it jagula jene. They are growing by themselves. These trees are loaded with high protein sources for our animals. That even if you woke up one day and you say, I'm not going to plant any vegetation, mululuza, that is bitter leaf. We have lots and lots of mululuza. Mululuza is laden with crude protein. This is an excellent feed for our goats, but most of us don't know these things. I also didn't know, but with experience, you start seeing this. Marketing is identifying the needs of the customers or buyers. For example, when I was starting, I was also not decided. I remember I used to carry my goats. I used to carry them in a nadia. So I would go to those guys of the butcher. They still know me up to now. And then they would come, they get the goat like this. Imagine at the end of that day, the costs you have put into transport and the cost of producing that goat, they're giving you a profit of 20K. So one time, no, I'm going to be mean with my products. Let me find a way. So basically, some of us, we get solutions after we have been. You get my point? I think if the conditions were still favorable, maybe up to now I'll still be a lecturer. So it was a chance or a good opportunity for me to think, to push my head to think that when these guys would kujerega my goats, I would feel so bad. So I had to think of something. How do I sell my goats to gain out of this? So in my trading, where our farm is, we are surrounded by like 3 or 4 trading centers. And I realized these people on a daily basis, they slaughter 2 goats. And these are poor boys, but they slaughter, they get the money, and then they bring more goats. So I talked to all of them. I told them, I know you don't have money to purchase these goats. I can give you my goats. You slaughter at the end of the day, you give me my cut, you also stay with your profit. This thing worked out for like 8 months. And then they started stories. You know women, when you're in business, and you're working with men, there is a way they tend, exactly. So the story started, I'm like, no way, I can't go like this. So I said, I'm not going to sell all my castrates till when they are 8 months to 12 months. In that, I'm targeting how they call this Eid for Muslims. I'm also targeting Christmas time. So I also resolved, since I'm having free feeds at the farm, I'm not buying the feeds. Let them feed and they grow fatter. So in that time of Eid and Christmas, even Easter, I can be able to sell many numbers. And remember the magic with goats. The more you sell, that is where the profit is. So if you are selling just one goat all the time, it means the profit is less. So the magic is in numbers of what you are selling. Currently, the market of goats is highly informal. Like I've told you, we are very disorganized. The people who are trading goats, these are not the planned kids we know of. Nobody knows about. They are the ones that they come to your farm, you get it. They will tell you because you have no idea. You get it. So it is middlemen, and these are men who have not gone to school. So you are also mere with your master's degree, you are interacting with these guys to sell your goats. This is where it becomes problematic. And then sales are predominantly at farm gate level, especially with these middlemen. Tigwera ku farm, they give you whatever you want, and then that is it. There is also lack of market information about goats. How much can I sell? Individual farmers are doing it themselves. Groups are also doing it themselves. This is the disorganization I told you. So we all need, as farmers, to organize ourselves to tap into this market. So who usually buy our goats? They're individual traders, all farmers. They buy the goats. There is private sector companies, the abattoirs, the butchers, and others. There are other groups like the Muslim community. For example, in my area, I have a Muslim community that comes from Mutukula every Eid time. All my sheep, they all buy all the sheep. So I never look anywhere. I always wait for that time for those guys to take the sheep. Yeah. How do you penetrate the goat market? I think this is our last slide. Decide on whether to sell for slaughter or breeding. Salawo, you can't be everywhere. You get it? And if you want to be everywhere, make a decision. If I'm selling for slaughter, when should I sell my goats? If I'm selling for breeding, when should I sell my goats and at how much? Because if you are selling for slaughter, it has different technicalities to put into consideration. If you are selling for slaughter, you will sell your goat according to how many kilos that goat has. You don't just have to look at a beautiful goat, but how much it weighs. The more kilos it has, the more money you get. And how do you reach at that as a farmer? Prior to bringing brokers or somebody to buy your goats, assuming you have your 20 goats, don't wait for a broker to make a choice for you. Bakuyita kutegerera. Buli muntu bwakutegerera mu business yo, it means you are out of touch with your business. So how do you go about that? You want to sell your 20 goats. At least do random selection. At least weigh 10 goats. Averagely, my goat is weighing 15. Averagely, these 10 goats each is weighing 15 kilos. You get it? Before you bring in a broker. Because when you bring in a broker, madam, kana kabuzika kilo munana. Actually, me out of experience, now I can easily tell that goat is 10 kilos. Kilo munana. So prior to doing that, make sure you know how much. For example, before even you bring in the brokers, these brokers usually come from the nearby trading centers. So komanye nyama y'embuzi mu trading center kulira nabagigula sente meka. You will not be selling somebody 20,000 a kilo of goat's meat, but in the trading center next door, a kilo is 15,000. Embuzi bajazirikawo. This is where most of us miss the gist of. You get it? So make that market research, and also don't sell when you are so needy. When you are so needy, they will take all your profit. Where to are, sometimes even refuse to say, I'm not selling. You get it? I for one day come, it didn't bagamba, they don't sigenda baguza, nyina katali. But in actual sense, I don't have, but they know my goats are of good quality. So prior to even starting goat farming, do a market research. Some of us ekintu kigwamu bugwi. Bernard alonze embuza nange nja zironda. You don't know where you're going to sell the goats. You get it? This is why we miss. So ask yourself these questions. Who am I going to sell to my goats? And when should I sell my goats? Where am I going to sell my goats? Most of us are looking at markets. These markets already have their owners. Isenja kutunda embuzi zange ku mbuzi. Nga your bind tells you I'm going to sell my goats at Gayaza. But you'll never even sell a single goat there. The people from Gayaza, wali ku mbuzi, they have where they are getting their goats from. So do that market research. Prior to going to Kalerwe, to bring your goats bakujeregereye eryovengo vumya abantu. Go there 2 days or 4 days before and find out what is the pricing of the goat. You meet your number gundia, you see they always tell you. They are always willing to give you the information as long as you don't come as somebody who is selling. So after 2 to 3 days, also bring your goats because you know the techniques. And actually, the good thing about our markets, most of our markets, they only ask for, they call it imposer, some little tax for you to be able to sell your goat, and that's it. And keep quality. Quality sells itself. Every time you keep something which is quality, it will automatically find itself on the market. People will come looking for it. I have people where they see my goats grazing by the roadside, and because they are grazing by the roadside, they come following them. I want to see where those good goats are coming from. Be that person with the good quality goats. Network with others in the same business. don't farm alone. Let me surprise them. Bajja kundaba nga nyina embuzi. You are surprising yourself because the people you don't want to network with, these are people who are going to be your market, sell in bulk. When you are selling in many numbers, this is where the big profit comes from. And lastly, be in charge of your business. Be in charge of your business. Don't let brokers make a decision for you. Don't let them decide for you. Let them be the one to listen to you. Every time you let somebody else be in charge of your business, it means you are letting them make the profit, make the decisions for you. That's all I had for you. But please, if you have a smartphone, our YouTube channel is Bwogi Farms. Check us on TikTok. Please subscribe and let the questions can begin, I think.